Oi! Hello there, and welcome to Survival 101. Today we are in Mombasa, Kenya, on the eastern coast of Africa. We are exploring this deserty climate. Please watch the rest of this episode to see what comes in next.
Hey, well, you might be wondering, we're in the bloody world's Mombasa. Well, have I got a location for you? Mombasa is located 40 degrees east and 4 degrees south, right on the equator. In Africa, presently in the known country of Kenya. This is the Swahili coast, and this is where Kenya is right here, right on Africa. As for Mombasa, truly never was a part of a territory/empire during its golden age of 1200 to 1500. Here is where the trading port of Mombasa was located, and it still is presently located in modern-day Kenya, and where the Chinese, Portuguese, and the Indians traded.
The history of the city is a mixture of influences coming from African, Persian, Portuguese, and British influences that make the city so rich in culture today. Did you know that the city was inhabited by the Bantu people just before Ibn Battuta visited there? City-states traded with inland kingdoms such as Great Zimbabwe. They traded items like gold, ivory, and iron. These items were then traded with places like India, China, and Southeast Asia. These exports, using the Indian Ocean Trade Network, were sold at a high profit because they were so scarcely found in these other countries. Here's a timeline of Mombasa. As you can see, in 1331, Ibn Battuta stays in Mombasa for only one day. In 1498, Vasco da Gama anchors in port, and that was the year that he figured out how to get around the Horn of Africa. In 1528, Mombasa was sacked by the Portuguese, and in the next year, the Portuguese became in power. In 1571, the Mandri Mosque was built, which was significant because most of Kenya was Christian, but Mombasa was filled with Sunni Muslims. In 1588, Mombasa was captured by Amir Ali Bey. And then, over the next 5 years, Mombasa became under the rule of the Malandi. In 1594, Fort Jesus was built by the Portuguese, and within the next 30 years, the Portuguese were expelled by the Malandi. In 1661, Mombasa was sacked by the Omani forces, and lastly, in 1698, the Sultanate of Oman was in power. As you can see, the heyday was between the late 15th century, and the late 16th century. This was important because the Portuguese learned a way around the Horn of Africa and wanted in on the Indian Ocean Trade Network, and there was new discoveries of gold all around Mombasa.
You are looking at a pie chart on the ethnic composition of Mombasa during its heyday in the 16th century. The Portuguese are in power and take up most of the space. The Arabs and the Indians take up a good chunk as well. The rest of the chart is the descendants of the Bantu people. Now here's a pie chart on the ethnic composition of Mombasa today. The Arabs, Indians, and Europeans now only take up 1% of the chart. The most dominant group is the Kikuyu, and the rest of the smaller groups, including Kikuyu, are descendants of the Bantu people.
A little more on the ethnic composition of Mombasa. The people in Mombasa are mostly Swahili Muslim, even though in Kenya the main religion is Christianity. But the people in Mombasa, they are Swahili Muslim, more specifically Sunni Muslim.
In recent years, rhino numbers have dropped dramatically in Africa due to poaching for their horn, which is prized in Asian countries. Rhino horns were also a significant trade item and were worth lots of money. This picture shows the diversity of a Mombasan woman. It is currently on a wall in the Nairobi Gallery. The Nairobi Gallery is strongly connected to the city's history and continues to contribute to its cultural development. This is a picture of biryani, a famous African dish. The ingredients include rice, Indian spices, base, vegetables, meat or egg, curd, and there are also other optional ingredients. For an example, you can add dried fruits. This is an original African painting located in the village market, a gallery that showcases an impressive range of artworks from some of East Africa's rising and most celebrated artists. Again, this shows the mixtures of cultures in Mombasa. This is a picture of some original Mombasan architecture. These buildings are influenced by Mombasa's trade culture, with many examples of Portuguese and Islamic architecture. This final picture depicts the trade market in Mombasa. Items are being traded, but also you can see the women showing little parts of their skin due to their head gowns. This is an example of a Sunni Muslim woman you might see in Mombasa.
Hand in it now. Yeah. Really? I guess it's not. Yeah. Well, Mombasa is located at 40 degrees east. Mombasa is located 40 degrees east and 4 degrees north.
Yeah.
Mombasa is located at 40 degrees east and 4 degrees north, south. South or north? South, right? 4 degrees east. Oh. Mombasa is located 40 degrees north, south, right?
Oh. Walking along. Oh! It's tracks! Oh my gosh, they are humongous! Ay! Stroke the crocodile.
Stroking on the croc.
Stroke it. Stroke the croc. Baby croc. Oh my goodness. Another snake has been spotted. Looks like the mother python. Let's go check it out. Oh my. Coast of Africa. We are exploring this deserty climate. Let's see what happens. Oh! I left my croc out in the wild. Gotta go get it.